Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Adjust this camera. No, the whole thing. Look at the whole thing. Zoom more. Okay. It's nice. Right. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to another broadcast of Shabbat service over in over in Tobala, Turkey. This week's Torah portion will be reading from Deuteronomy the 26th chapter, verse 1, to Deuteronomy the 29th chapter, verse 8. The Haftarah portion is in Isaiah the 60th chapter, verses 1 through 22. And the Besorah New Testament portion will be in Matthew the 4th chapter, verses 13 to verse 24. The next new moon will be coming up real shortly on September 27th at sundown, ending at September 28th at sundown, which marks the beginning of the 7th month, the 7th new moon, the Kadash, the Holy Kadash. And then prescribing after that, the next Holy Convocation will be October the 6th at sundown, will be the Day of Atonement, to October 7th at sundown. All right, and then 10 days later, we'll have the start of the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, so with that being said, we are in our busy season. When it comes to our holy convocations. So get yourself prepared, get your families prepared, get your spirits prepared, and lock into the Spirit of the Most High. You see what's happening all around us, around the world, over in America, over in the Middle East. This is not the time to go back out in the world and be a busybody in that world, because that world is being destroyed by the word of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Okay, at this time, I'll yield and let Brother Parashah come in and give a few words. All right. So, let us get Leviticus 26th chapter, verses 41. Okay. Okay. We're going to tap in 4:30. So let's start. Read that. We can read that maybe. Can we I have to pose variance for that. Okay, second All right, so we're gonna start with the first Torah portion. Verses 1 through 11. Aqua.
It will be when you enter.
One verse.
Yahweh, Kaya,
And it shall be when. No, he read it wrong. He said Yahweh. Don't say Yahweh. So can't translate it.
Wahaya,
Wahaya. And it shall be
Kaya,
when for
Tavo,
when you shall come
Ab,
to
Haretza,
the land
Asar,
Asherah,
Asala,
which
Yahweh,
he is
Adahayaka,
your power,
Nathal,
gives
Nakan,
to you,
Nakala,
as inheritance. Wayarash, Waya, Rashafha, and you possess it.
Yashabath,
And dwell.
Makan,
Mm-hmm.
Baha,
In it. All right, very good. All right, verses 1 through 3.
it will be when you enter the land that Hashem Yahweh your Elohim gives you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take it the first,
Take of the first.
take of the first of every fruit of the ground that you bring it in from your land that Hashem Yahweh your Elohim gives you, and you shall put it in a basket and go to the place that Hashem Yahweh your Elohim will choose to make his name rest there, and you shall come to whoever will be to the Kohen in those days, and you shall say to him, I declare today to Hashem Yahweh your Elohim that I have come to the land that Hashem Yahweh swore to our forefathers to give us.
That's it.
No,
Good. I might can finish reading chapter verse.
Mark on Parashah, from God, from Shalom.
Amaba, Bra,
That back coming out, Shimmy outside.
Yeah, but I can how about Shimmy outside. The seventh. I do 8 to 11. I'm sorry, not 8 to 11. 4 to 11.
What about us?
Verse 4? I'm sorry, verse 2, okay.
2.
You doing verse 2 in Hebrew, yeah.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm. You say after I did verse 1, right? What verse were you doing just now? 4? The first word is Ba'at. Is Dalaf is 4.
So what does he read? Verse 2?
He just said 4. Then verse 4, it says, Walakwak, right? Go ahead.
Well, the quack,
And take,
Kahan,
talk loud with the priest.
Hatana'am,
Louder, I wasn't louder. The basket.
Mayabak,
Mm-mm.
Mayadak,
Mm-mm. Mayaka.
Mayadka,
Mm-hmm. From your hand.
Wahanya, Wahanyakal,
And set it down
Lapanya,
before the face of, or before, in front of,
Mazabak,
the altar
Yahweh,
of Yahweh,
Alahayaka,
your power. Yeah, let's just do one verse. Go ahead, do 4 through 11.
The Kohen shall take the basket from your hand
Through the line.
and lay it before the altar of Yahweh, your Elohim. Then you shall call out and say before Yahweh, your Elohim, and Arameam tried to destroy my forefather. He descended to Egypt and sojourned there, few in number, and there he became a nation, great, strong, and numerous. The Egyptians mistreated us and afflicted us, and placed hard work upon us. Then we cried out to Yahweh, the Elohim of our forefathers, and Yahweh heard our voice, and saw our affliction, our travail, and our oppression. Yahweh took us out of Egypt with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great awesomeness, and with signs, and with wonders. He brought us to this place, and he gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, behold, I have brought you the first fruit of the ground that you have given me, O Yahweh, and you shall lay it before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall prostrate yourself before Yahweh your Elohim. You shall rejoice with all the goodness that Yahweh your Elohim has given you and your household, you and the Levite and the proselyte who was in your midst.
So we had to go to Jerusalem and have a special ceremony when we had the feast and the festivals. All right, this is really going into like what the first fruits, right? Or you got different kinds of the first fruits, and then also dealing with types that we're supposed to bring. These are the things we're supposed to bring to the priest, all right, to the altar. Okay, now notice that it says, who's it talking to? First of all, who would say, what does it say? The first verse tells us what? What's the first verse telling us? Yeah, go ahead and read it.
It will be when you enter the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it.
So this is addressing the whole nation of Israel. That's who's being talked. That's who's being talked to right here. So when you possess that land, so that when you go into the land and you possess it, the land is now yours. You have your own possession. Everybody got their possession. When we went to the wilderness, and then we went into our land, the whole country, everybody had land. So when you go into verse 12, when you go into verse 11, and it talks about rejoice in what Yahweh gives you, your house rejoices, and the Levite and the stranger. The stranger is talking about is the Gentiles that were with us in the wilderness, and the Gentiles that were with us when we went into the land to possess it. You had high officials, and you had slaves that were in Egypt at the time we left out. Egypt was a thriving economy. It was a thriving place of commerce and business. It was constantly people coming back and forth out of Egypt. So when we left and people saw the power of Yahweh, what do you think they did? A lot of them left with us. All right, now all of them wasn't destroyed, and all of them didn't leave with us. Some of them stayed in Egypt, all right, but some of them left with us. That's the mixed multitude we read about in the book of Exodus. So when they left out with us, the Most High said, this is, they came, what are they doing at these feast days rejoicing? What you got to rejoice over if you just a slave that's getting beat every day? You ain't got nothing to rejoice about. So these people that's rejoicing had a reason to rejoice because of the goodness shown to them towards Yahweh. Now this isn't talking about, you know, Gentiles that was in captivity and hardcore bondage and slavery, that was locked up for doing crimes in Israel. This is talking about the ones that lived among us like they had some sense. So every Israelite didn't have a Gentile slave, and every Gentile that was in the land of Israel wasn't a slave or a captive. Some of them were free. Israel was Israel now, Yasharallah became a thriving global center of commerce, gold, and trade. Okay? All right, let's call the next reader.
Parashah Parashah God Mashallah. You might wrong. Wrong. Yeah, Rock coming how about Shemi Hashah.
Yabarakari Hawa Bashim Hashah.
You got verses 12 through 15, then we're gonna have to go to 12, 16 to 19 after that.
Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12.
In Hebrew.
Kaya,
For or when
Lakala,
you laid aside
La'ishar,
the 10th, right, your 10th,
Ath,
to a Torah,
Kal,
all
Ma'ishar,
all the tithe. So basically, when you make an end of when you have made an end of tithing, it's giving your 10%
Thavwa Athak,
of your increase.
Vashana,
Hold on, go back to the last word.
Thavwa Athak,
It's the Bawa Africa. Okay. The root word, one of the main word is the Bawa Ah. The Bawa Ah. Now go ahead.
Vashanha,
Bashana in the year.
Hashalashta,
Hashayalasha. Hashalayatha. Hashalayasha, which is from Shalash, which means 3. And the third, go ahead.
Shanaf,
The third year.
Hama Ishar,
Hamad Ishad, the year of tithing.
Wanathatha,
And you have given
Lalawiya,
to the Levite,
Lagar,
to the stranger,
Layathawam,
and to the, that's like a person who doesn't have a father anymore, whose father died. Go ahead.
La'a, Lamanha,
Wala Almana, which is a widow. Go ahead.
Wa'akalwa,
So that they may eat, and they may eat, and they shall eat.
Basha
Aryaka,
Aryaka,
in your gates,
Washa Baiwa,
and be 7, or it be promised, or it be full. Go ahead. So we'll come back to the
Deuteronomy chapter 26, verse 12. When you have finished tithing every tithe of your produce in the third year, the year of the tithe, you shall give to the Levite, to the proselyte, to the orphan, and to the widow, and they shall eat in your cities and be satisfied. Then you shall say before Yahweh your Elohim, I have removed the holy things from the house, and I have also given it to the Levite, to the proselyte, to the orphan, and to the widow, according to all the commandment that you have commanded me. I have not transgressed any of your commandments, and I have not forgotten. I have not eaten of it in my intense mourning. I did not consume it in a state of contamination, and I did not give of it for the needs of the dead. I have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh, my Elohim. I have acted according to everything you commanded me. Gaze down from your holy abode, from the heavens, and bless your people, Yashar'Allah, and the ground that you gave us, as you swore to our forefathers, a land flowing with milk and honey.
So here we see a type of tithe, which is a third tithe. Every 3 years, okay, every 3 years, like the scripture said, you had a certain tithe that you stored up your food, and every 3 years, the children whose father died, and the woman who didn't have a husband because he died, she didn't remarry. Okay, and the stranger, the person of a different nation that lived among you, and also the person of the tribe of Levi that lived among you in your gates. They would eat of that food that you had put to the side for the tithe of the third year, which had happened in your city. All right, which happened in your city. People were supposed to be able to come and eat that food. All right, so now some people may say, well, I was talking about a stranger of Israel. But what happened to the stranger that lived among you that wasn't an Israelite? Did they starve? You see that? The Most High said he loved the stranger. What does the Most High mean when he said he loved the stranger? That means that he loves the person that comes from a different nation, comes to be among you, that tries to worship him and walk in righteousness before him. The Most High said he loved it. And some people might say, well, that's talking about a stranger of Israel. When the Most High said, I love the stranger the same way as you were strangers in the land of Egypt, which is talking about a different ethnic group, a foreigner. And that foreigner is trying to walk in the ways of the land of Yashar'Allah. He's trying to walk upright and keep the commandments. Okay? All right, so that's, but the tithe is the most important thing we're looking at right here. All right, that 10%, the 10% was of agriculture, livestock, things that grew. All right, it wasn't of money and you gave it to the pastor. It wasn't of money and you gave it to the priest or the deacon or the elder of your local congregation. All right, all of the Levites and all of the strangers, all of the fatherless, all of the widows, they could partake of this tithe. And then you could eat with them. And then you couldn't do it if you were mourning. You had to be in a rejoiceful state. All right, now let's do the third Parashah. Read chapter 16 in the Hebrew. I'm sorry, read verse 16 in the Hebrew. Deuteronomy 16 and 26 and 16.
Hayawam,
The day,
Hazah,
this,
Yahweh,
the Most High, He is
Al-Haika,
your power.
Matazawar,
Matazawaka.
Matazawaka,
So Matawa, that's what people say. Let's say mitzvah. All right, that's like mitzvah, which is a commandment, and mitzvot is the modern Hebrew for commandments. All right, go ahead. So it's matazawa, and matazawa in the ancient. Go ahead.
La'ashawaf,
To do. Go ahead.
Af,
Toward.
Kwawam, Haka, Kwawam,
You got a wawa there? Yeah, that first word is one syllable. Then the suffix is plural.
Hakakyam,
Right, hakakyam. The statutes, go ahead.
Ha'alha,
These,
Wa'ath,
and toward, that you're supposed to do, go ahead.
Hamashapatyam,
The judgments, you gotta do the judgments, go ahead.
Washamartha,
Washamartha, preserve,
Wa'aishayaf,
and do them to preserve, go ahead,
our thumb,
to preserve them, go ahead,
bakal,
in all
lababka,
your heart,
wabakal,
and in all
napashka.
your soul. Let's do 16, 17, 18, and 19 in English.
This,
Elevate your voice a little bit.
this day, Yahweh your Elohim commands you to perform these decrees and the statutes, and you shall observe and perform them with all your heart and with all your soul. You have distinguished Yahweh today to be an Elohim for you, and to walk in his ways, and to observe his decrees, his commandments, and his statutes, and to hearken to his voice. And Yahweh has distinguished you today to be for him a treasured people, as he spoke to you, and to observe all his commandments, and to make you supreme over all the nations that he made, for praise, for renown, and for splendor. All the nations that he made, for praise, for renown, and for splendor, so that you will be a holy people to Yahweh your Elohim, as he spoke. Parashah,
Parashah,
Bar Yahweh,
Jabbar Yahweh,
Na'isha,
Laisha,
Wenal Shema.
Wanashemai.
All that Yahweh said,
All that Yahweh said,
what we doing here.
what we doing here. Okay, so in this Torah Aliyah, we see that the Most High, he's telling you, be careful to do my commandments, protect and preserve. So if you are in captivity and you understand the commandments of the Most High and you can read them or you heard them, you're supposed to do them. Ain't no excuse, man. There's no excuse for breaking these commandments, Kaya. There's no excuse for walking outside of what he said to do. You see? So if he's telling you, Isaiah, be careful to do them and watch them and, you know, be diligent, you know, he's saying be protective to do them. That means when you're in a position where, you know what, I can either save myself and break this commandment, or I can break the commandment and save myself, or I can have some type of loss to myself and protect and preserve it. It's like a baby. Think of the commandments like a baby. All right. Only one person can get caught falling out of this burning building. It's gonna be you or the baby. Huh? It's gonna be the baby. You know, it's gonna be the baby once you get over that fear of processing it through your head. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna be like, what? I gotta find another way to do this thing, right? I ain't gonna just let the baby get burnt up. I'm gonna throw the baby out, and then I gotta find a way out this building. The baby's safe now. It's not even an option no more. That's what the Most High mean when he says what? He said protect and preserve to do it, like he read in verse in verse 16. He says, Washemartha la Ishayath Alatham Bakal. So it says, and protect and preserve it to do them with all your heart. To protect and preserve what? The commandments, the Mashapatim, the judgments, all right, the mitzvot, the matazawat, the commandments. You're supposed to protect and preserve the laws of Yahweh at all costs. Which means now when that baby gets saved, you protect it and you preserve the baby now. Mm. Now you got to do what you got to do. You got to find a way to get yourself safe. So the Most High, so somebody say, yeah, let's go eat this shrimp. Let's go at this restaurant that serves shrimp on the same plates that they're going to serve us chicken on, and cooking on the same stove that they're going to cook our chicken on. You're supposed to say, no, I got to protect and preserve the law. But the Most High said, don't defile yourself. So now once I got that out the way, and once I know, yo, I'm going to do this thing the way Yahweh said to do it, breaking the law ain't even a commandment. Now I got to find a way to keep his commandment. It ain't up to the Most High to say, okay, break my commandments if you don't think there's no other way. But that's the same spirit that's going to get you in a bad situation, and you're going to start justifying breaking the commandments in your head, and you're going to break his commandments. Where other people clearly can see you shouldn't have broken his commandment.
Compromise.
All right, so there's no compromise with the Most High's laws. All right, now that was 19, right? Okay, so that was, you read 12 to 19? So the Most High also tells us right here that He has taken us to be, from all the nations, to be His special people. To be His special people. All right? And He's going to elevate us above the nations in praise, in name, and honor. So we look at praise. Who the people that give the most praises to the Creator? Is Israel. When you go to a Pentecostal Puerto Rican church or a Pentecostal Judite church, they singing praises to the God of the Bible. They might be ignorant to His name and reading the Bible and say, we're going to sing songs to this entity in here. They got a lot of paganism and idolatry mixed in with their worship that they learned from the Gentiles after we came from the colonialism and the conquest that they put us in, right? But they are trying diligently to seek the God of the Bible. They're not saying, well, we want to deal with Islam. They're not saying we want to deal with Hinduism or Buddhism. They're saying we want to deal with the Bible. They know the Bible is the book, but they've been taught lies about the Bible, and that throws off how they worship the Most High. Right? So the Most High say He's going to exalt us in praise no matter what. All right? Israel is the most known for praising. That's what created the whole gospel music. And after the Renaissance period, after the Baroque period, Israel revived songs about praising the Most High while in captivity, which is the foundation of the modern music, pop music, rock music, hip hop, jazz, all that comes from us. But then the Most High said, in name, we have a name among all the nations because we went there and we built up these nations. All right, we have a name among all nations because we got oppressed in America and the world knows our struggle. We got a name amongst all nations. All right, and then it says in honor. All right, when you think of honor, the military strategists that they look at for their military programs is who? Mainly they're looking at Hannibal. Hannibal gave the blueprint for the Roman Empire, and the Roman Empire used what he did to conquer not only him, but to conquer other nations also. We're looking at Septimius Severus and Constantine. How did they maintain these rulerships for such a long time? We look at Yasha Allah. How do we maintain rulership on that little piece of land we control from the Euphrates down to the Nile? How do we do that? Military, all right? So we had a name, all right? And people understood the honor that we had in war. The Maccabees, I'd rather go into the mountains and live in a cave before I transgress the commandments of the Most High. And that's what the Maccabees did. That's what they did, all right? And that's when you get the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. So the point is that there's no other nation that has records of their ancestors doing these types of things. Look at that, the Gadites, how they went to war, how we would fight to the death, honor in war. Other nations don't have that. Other nations don't have that. All right? So the Most High said He's going to make us His holy people. All right, so that's the commentary on the third Parashah. Let's get to the fourth Parashah, Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1 through 10. For this one, we're going to read the first two in Hebrew because, no, we can read the first one. I thought it was just, I thought it was in the Lord spoken to Moses saying, so you ain't getting away with just reading that one. You can say that with your eyes closed. All right, so in Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1 through 10.
Azariah ben Troy ben Gad ben Yasha'Allah.
Madwan, Rock.
Yabarak Kami Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushua.
Yabarakah Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushua. Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1 through 10. Verse 1 in the Hebrew. Okay.
Wayat Zawah.
Then command
Masha.
Masha.
Moses draws up
Ath.
What, say it again?
Ath.
to a toward. Come on, man. That is... Go ahead.
Hayam.
You might jump down a little bit.
No?
You jumped because you
Yeah, see, you didn't do well.
what's going on? Oh, that's not verse 1. It starts off with the same word, the same 2 words, but this is verse 11. Where Moses commanded the people, Ha'ayim, which is the people. This is Moses. Moses and the elders commanded the people. Yeah. Okay.
What is a what?
They commanded
Masha
Moses,
was a Quanyam.
Is it a memo there?
Was a Kwa Ya.
It's a quantity, right?
and with the elders
Yasha'Allah.
of Israel, to
Hayam.
the people,
Say again, how what?
Hayam. Hayam.
Ha'ayim.
Hayam.
the people,
Lamar.
saying,
Shamar.
keep, protect,
Af.
to
Kal.
all
Hamatzawa. Ha.
Right, Hamatazawa.
the commandments,
Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Ashar.
which,
Ashara.
Ashara.
which,
Anakaya.
Alakia.
Anakia.
I,
Matazawaha.
Matazawa.
Matazawa.
command,
Athkayam. Akayam.
Afkam.
Athkam.
you,
Hayawam.
Right.
today.
Alright,
Doing
good.
verse 2.
Nah. 'Cause I thought that was like when you had to borrow your how Allah Mashallah Allah. I thought that's what that was. I just do 1 through 11 in the Hebrew. I mean, in the English, 1 through 11.
And Moses said unto the elders of Yasha'Allah, commanded the people, saying, observe the entire commandment that I command you this day. And it shall be on the day that you cross the Jordan in the land that Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim gives you, you shall set up great stones, and you shall coat them with plaster, and you shall inscribe them all the words of this Torah when you cross over, so that you may enter the land of Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim gives you, with a land flowing with milk and honey, as Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim of your forefathers have spoken about you. It shall be that when you cross the Jordan, that you shall erect these stones, which I command you today on Mount Ebal, and that you shall coat them with plaster. And there you shall build an altar for Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim, an altar of stones. You shall not raise iron upon them. Of whole stones shall you build the altar of Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim. You shall bring upon the elevation offering unto Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim, and you shall slaughter the peace offerings and eat there. You shall rejoice before Yahweh Ya'alahayim. You shall slaughter the peace offerings and eat it there, and rejoice before Yahweh Ya'alahayim. You shall inscribe the stones all of the words of this Torah well clarified. And Moses and the Kohen, and the Levites spoke unto all of Yasha'Allah, saying, be attentive and hear, O Yasha'Allah. This day you have become the people of Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim. You shall hearken unto the voice of Hashem Yahweh Ya'alahayim, and you shall perform all of his commandments and his decrees which I command you this day. And Moses commanded the people, saying, these shall stand to bless the people.
Verse 1? Yeah, of course I can tell. Like I said, 11. Okay, so here we Moses basically sets up the law so people can see it when it first come into the boundaries of the land of Yasha'Allah. Because remember, we haven't crossed over into the land yet. So he's saying, look, when you come into the land, before you get to the border, before you get into our territory, you're going to see what are the commandments and laws you're supposed to be doing before you come in here. So ain't no excuse. So you take your time out, set up your little tent, chill out, and read these laws. If you come here and break these commandments, you have a problem. All right, so the Most High says that, put them and write them down on that tablet, on that stone. And then he says, when we build him an altar, all right, when he build him an altar, he said, bring the peace offering and things of that nature, talking about in Jerusalem. Okay? I'm sorry, I said verse 4, when you cross Jordan, all right, it says you shall build an altar there, don't lift a stone up upon it, build an altar of Yahweh, all right, so when we first crossed the Jordan, we set up an altar and we put the stones there. Some people say they found a place where the stones were, but we don't know. We'll find out, once we leave our captivities. Just like everybody's on a kick now, we have to discover a conspiracy that somebody taught you something wrong, but none of it really brings you into more obedience to Yahweh's laws, commandments, and statutes. So it's just a kind of a distraction from what you really should be focused on, which is
define the conspiracy that you were taught wrong to justify you believing in that person.
Yeah, so that's what goes on now. So that's pretty much that portion. Anything deeper in it? No, nothing deeper in it, right? All right, so let's work backward. Let's get Ariashon back up here. So you got verse 11 through chapter 28, verse 6.
Manuel,
Ariashon Barak Baghdad Inshallah.
Manuel, Barak,
Yabrak Kami Hawa Bashem Yahshua.
Yabarakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay, so verse, it's gonna be a long commentary on this one. Chapter 27, verse 11 through chapter 28, verse 6. And now listen also, you gotta go back and look at these Torah portions, man. Don't just sit here and be like, okay, we heard the Torah portion and it's over. You gotta go, this is like the second, more than the second time really, but probably like the fourth or fifth time we ever recorded this particular Torah portion. When we was in Ohio, we did it like every Sabbath, every year. So that, you're talking about 2 or 3 years. And in Mexico, I did it for the whole time. And right now, here we're doing it again. So you have all these Torah portions, and that's the way to confirm your doctrine, man. You got to go into the Torah and understand the Torah first. That's why it says to the law and the testimony. All right? The law of Yahushua, the law of Yahweh, the testimony of Yahushua, followed by the testimony of the prophets. Because Scripture says that those that keep the testimony of Yahushua. So what does Yahushua say about this particular topic? All right, that's why it says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of who? Yahweh. And what do they have? What do they have along with the commandments? What else do they have? Anybody? testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So in the scripture, Isaiah 8:20 says, to the law and the testimony. A lot of people think that's talking about any place in the whole Bible. No, first it got to match up with, this is the commandment and the testimony that we must have to get eternal life. The testimony of Yahushua, and believe that his testimony is true and follow him. And the commandments of Yahweh, to believe that Yahweh's commandments are true and follow them. So it said, which keep the commandments and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. So these commandments that we're reading, these are the commandments of life. And we have to have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. So if you have a problem with a doctrine that somebody's teaching you and you're believing, you have to dig into the Torah. You can't just say, let me get 100 verses from all these different books that agree with what I'm saying. But then you go into the Torah don't even speak about what you're saying.
Or it speaks contrary to it.
Yeah, so you just wasted all this time on going into a topic that the Most High don't even address in his law book. And can you bring it back to the Torah? Can you relate it back to the Torah in any kind of way? Okay. All right, let's start your reading. So that's why I go back and look at these videos, type in Tavo. And the reason we put Tavo instead of Kaya, what is it, Kaya Taba'a, right? Instead of Kaya Taba'a, is because people have Kaya Taba'a differently. All right, people have Kaya Taba'a differently. So we know Tavo is standard pronunciation for that verb, for that verb and for that interjection, prep, whatever it is for Kaya. All right. So go back and look at it and listen to them, and that's how you can learn the Torah, by listening to the Torah being taught, not just by you reading and looking at video about street teaching and relevant different topics. That's not how you're gonna learn the Torah. You're gonna learn the Torah by focusing on the Torah, and then your doctrine gets revolved around that.
Refinement.
All right, let's start at verse. And Marty, hit that. Let's start at verse 11. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and read the Hebrew first. What are we looking at percent-wise? Okay. Yeah, we gotta get the thing from. Go ahead and read. Go ahead and get the thing from.
Leah tells why.
And commanded
Masha,
Moses
Ath,
to
Ha'aim,
the people
Bayawam,
on day
Hawa'ah,
that,
La'amar.
saying, verse 12.
So Moses charged the people in that day, saying, verse 11. Go ahead. In English.
Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 11. Masha commanded the people on that day, saying, These shall stand to bless the people on Mount Gerizim when you have crossed the Jordan. Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these shall stand for the curse on Mount Ebal. Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. The Levites shall speak up and say to every man of Israel in a loud voice, Accursed is the man who will make a graven or molten image, an abomination of Yahweh.
So you go into Joshua chapter 8, and it talks about how we did this, how the people did the blessing and the curses on when we got into the land of Israel. Tell you the whole process of what happened. Joshua chapter 8, go ahead.
A craftsman handiwork, and place it in secret, and the entire people shall speak up and say,
Amen.
Accursed is the one who degrades the father or mother, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who moves the boundary of his fellow, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is the one who causes a blind person to go astray on the road, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who perverts a judgment of a proselyte, orphan, or widow, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
A Accursed is one who lies with the wife of his father, for he will have uncovered the robe of his father. And the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who lies with any animal, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who lies with a sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is the one who lies with his mother-in-law, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who strikes his fellow stealthily, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who takes a bribe to kill a person of innocent blood, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Accursed is one who will not uphold the words of this Torah to perform them, and the entire people shall say,
Amen.
Kal Shara,
Kal Shara,
Devar Yahweh,
Devar Yahweh,
Na'isha,
Na'isha,
V'na Shema.
V'na Shema.
All that Yahweh said,
All that Yahweh said,
what we doing here.
what we doing here. All right, so real quick, let's review these different commandments and laws that we saw. Once we go into Joshua chapter 8, we see how the people stood on the mountains and they cursed and they blessed for the entire congregation to do good and get the blessing, and cursed if you break these commandments. All right, so we see that if you worship another God, if you make another God, all right, then you cursed. If you try to look at your mother or your father in a sexual way, you curse. If you remove your neighbor's landmark, which the so-called white man did when he took over America, you curse. Okay? If you cause a person that doesn't see to go out of the way that they should be walking in, you curse. So a lot of y'all brothers out there teaching false doctrines don't know you teaching false doctrines, man. You shouldn't be teaching. Most High gonna put a curse upon you, man. Most High putting curses on you, man. You teaching brothers about the lunar Sabbath. You teaching brothers about the crescent moon. The Most High gonna put on all you brothers, man. He said it, not me. This ain't no joke.
Right.
This ain't no respect of person. Ain't no favoritism. All right. I'm saying it's talking about you teaching these particular doctrines. Now, of course, somebody else gonna retaliate and say, well, it's talking about you for going by the black moon and going by the 7-day weekly Sabbath. All right, well, you should have been teaching that when you was teaching the Torah. But you don't teach the Torah, so now you look like you being petty, just going tit for tat now. So the Most High said you cursed if you causing these people that's blind to wander out of the way. Blind meaning they can't see. And then you giving them something to make them go a different direction out of the way. So the Most High said a curse gonna come upon you for doing that, man. So if you don't know, if you ain't 100% certain about it, you don't teach it. Don't run your mouth about it. Don't just listen what somebody else says and copy off their teachings and then try to refine it and customize it for your own way of teaching. All right. And then the Most High say, if you have a Gentile living among you, or a woman whose husband died, or a child whose father has died, and you try to twist a judgment against them or for them against the commandments of the Most High, he's saying the curse is going to come upon you for that. If you lay with your father's wife, a curse, you curse for that. All right? If you do any type of nastiness with any type of animal, the Most High say a curse is going to come upon you for that. If you try to have sex or lay with your father's daughter, or your father's any type of sister, brother type of thing you trying to do with a woman that's your sister, or a man that's your brother, same father or the same mother. The scripture says, the daughter of your father or the daughter of your mother. The Most High said you cursed for that. All right? If you see your father-in-law and you try to lay with him, the husband, your husband's father, the Most High said you curse for that. If you try to lay with your wife's mother, the Most High said you curse for that. The Most High bring all these curses on you if you're trying to do these evil things against him. All right? If you in secret conspiring, I don't like this dude, I'm gonna make a video against him because I don't like him. Or I'm gonna lay in wait and I'm gonna murder this person, I'm gonna kill him. All right? The Most High say it curses upon you. You hit your neighbor, you smite your neighbor secretly. All right, I mean, you're trying to get them off in the cut and murder them. All right, so that Most High say, if you take a reward to kill a person that's innocent, all right, you're trying to do evil against the Most High, and the person didn't deserve what you did to them. All right, so the Most High say a curse comes upon you for that. And then the Most High say, if you don't confirm and say amen, amen, to all the things that we read, the Most High say a curse comes upon you for even that. For not saying you okay, for not confirming. All right, all the words in that book. So let's look at let me look at this real quick. So this says, when it says confirm, it says Yakoyam. Cursed be the person that doesn't raise up all the words of this law. All right, by doing them. So you elevate the law by doing the law. And that goes into what Paul said, do we make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid, we what? Establish the law. So you setting up, you making firm, you making raised up the law once you start believing in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right, let's go to chapter 28 and let's read verses 1 through 6. Let it be your Torah portion, this Aliyah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 6. It shall be that if you hearken to the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, to observe, to perform all of his commandments that I command you this day, then Yahweh your Elohim will make you supreme over all the nations of the earth. All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you hearken to the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of all of your animals, the offspring of your cattle, and the flocks of your sheep and goats. Blessed shall be your fruit basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall be you. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out.
So Yahweh,
That was for 6.
So Yahweh is saying, if you do all these things and what I command you to do, you're going to be blessed in everything you do. Your children are going to be blessed. That's the fruit of your body. Your animals are going to be blessed. Your sheep, your goat, your ox, your ass, all right, your chickens, all right, your, if you have pigs, your pigs will be blessed. Pigs not to eat, but to maintain, maintain the sanitation, to your refuge and, waste food and stuff like that. And hope, it could turn into biogas, things of that nature. Okay. So the Most High is saying, cursed be anybody that walks outside of, these things. Walk outside of what he's saying to do. But he's saying you blessed if you do them. Your animals will be blessed. Your basket will be blessed. Your store will be blessed. But you carrying in and the extra that you have, the Most High says it's going to be blessings everywhere. All right? Let's get Amaya up to read chapter 28, verses 7 through 69 in the Hebrew and 29:1 in the English.
Amadwa, Barak,
Let's do chapter 7 in Hebrew first. Let's do chapter 28, verse 7 in Hebrew first.
You got the zone?
Will cause
Yeah. Yahweh,
He is.
Afka, Afak,
2.
Af,
No. Go back to the word after Yahweh.
Afka,
2.
Af,
No. Yeah. Go back to the word. Go back to Yahweh. The
Well,
word-
28:7, right?
Yeah, 28:7.
Shall I read? Start over?
Mihal, Zone,
Chapter 28, verse 7.
Yeah.
You should be by the Zayan, by the Zah. The colon after the Zah. Chapter 28, verse 7. What's the Hebrew letter on the right side? Huh?
Ka,
Supposed to be Zah. It said Zah. Zah is 7. Ka is 8. This is Zah. You see the Zah? What's the word beside the colon where the Zah is? On that line, what's the colon? The word after the colon.
Afa,
Hmm?
Afa,
No. This is a Y and Zah. Saying that there's 2 verses in here. So give me after the Zah. It's a full verse on there, which is the Y. And the second verse that's on there begins after the colon, which is the Zah. There's actually 3 verses on there, but you got the Ha, then you got the Y, which ends. Then you got the first colon, which is the Zah. You got the first colon, which is the Y. Then you got the second colon, which is the Zah. So read after the second colon. Go ahead.
Yathan,
Give,
Yahweh,
he is,
Af,
to or toward
Ayabyaka,
your enemies
Hakwamyam,
that rise up
Alika,
against you or upon you
Nagapyam,
to be defeated
Lapanyaka,
before you or before your face
Badarka,
by the rock
Badarak,
on the way. It's a good effort.
Akkad,
One,
Yatza'al,
that's Zawa, they
Yatza'al,
should come in
Alika,
against you or upon you
Babashka Aiha,
what you say again? Washab Ya'ai,
Wabash,
Wabash,
Aiha,
okay. Wabash Shabaiha. And 7,
Dirakyam,
7 ways,
Yanawamwa,
Yanawaswa,
Yanawaswa,
they flee
Lapanyaka,
before you. Right? Chapter 28, verse 7 through verse 69. Go ahead.
How shall cause your enemies who rise up against you to be struck down before you? On one road will they go out toward you, and on 7 roads will they flee before you. Yahweh will command the blessing for you in your storehouses and your every undertaking, and he will bless you in the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you. Yahweh will confirm you for himself as a holy people, as he swore to you, if you observe the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, and you go in his ways. And all the peoples of the earth will see, and the name of Yahweh is proclaimed over you. They will revere you.
Revere me, ain't gonna be afraid of us. Go ahead.
Yahweh shall give you bountiful goodness, and the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your animals, and the fruit of your ground, and on the ground that Yahweh swore to your forefathers to give you. Yahweh shall open for you.
Let me show you something too, man. All right. Most High put this on. The Most High took this from us, man, and put it on the white man. That's how America became so big and bountiful. Sea to shining sea, the land of plenty, milk and honey. That's why everybody was trying to get to America. Because Israel, Judah, and Gad, they built up America for the white man. All right? And the Most High allowed them to prosper and allowed their crops to grow. All right? Because we did wickedness. Not because America's leaders were so great, but because Yasha was there building it up. Okay?
Yahweh shall open for you the storehouses of goodness. The heavens shall provide rain for your land in its time, and to bless all your handiwork. You shall lend to many nations. So
all these blessings supposed to be on us. But everything it's saying about what Yasha Allah supposed to be doing, tell me it didn't happen to America. Tell me it didn't happen to America. How do you think we even was brought to America? How do you think they could afford to buy these slaves? Because one, they came in and they built off the slave. The slave trade was built on the backs of the Gadites first. They made money taking Gad and selling Gad into Europe, into Spain. Then settlers came over trying to explore the islands and get different things off the islands, the gold, the resources, the spices, the herbs. And they said, what? They said, we're going to take these people, Israelites that are already here, from the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Gad, the tribe of Manasseh, and we're going to use them as slaves to build up this economy. And that just rolled over into America, and then it started bringing Judah to America in slavery from West Africa. You see? On slave ships, tribe of Judah. So now all these things the Most High says he's going to put on Yasharallah, these things came upon the other nations. And they came upon them when? When they got over here. And not over here, but when they left from over here and went into the Western Hemisphere. Brazil and Portugal, great riches and wealth. Mexico, great riches and wealth for Spain. America, great riches and wealth for the Edomites that stole and settled in that land. Puerto Rico was called the door to riches. Puerto Rico, port of riches. So all these things that we had, the Most High said, you know what, somebody got to do it. Somebody got to have these riches, give it to the Gentiles. That's why I said through our fall, salvation came unto the Gentiles. The riches of the world came unto the Gentiles, as well as the wealth of knowledge and information on how to get to the Most High. Came unto them. What's the secrets of understanding the Bible? Some secrets they got, some they don't. All right, go ahead.
But you shall not borrow. Yahweh shall place you as a head and not as a tail.
Israel was the head of all nations. Now the so-called white man is the head of all nations through the Rothschilds, through the Amalekites, Ashkenazi, all right? Some of them, a lot of them in industries like Hollywood, banking, film and music industry, and banking, all right, are at the top. So the Most High, we were at the top once upon a time. Go ahead.
You shall be only above. You shall be only above, and you shall not be below. If you hearken to the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim, that I command you today, to observe and to perform, and you do not turn away from me any of the words that I command you this day, right or left, to follow the gods of others, to worship them.
So the Most High says, just don't worship other gods. That's all we had to do. Don't worship the other gods. Right? How hard is that?
No idolatry.
No idolatry. No idolatry. Okay, so now when we look at this, all right, the Most High saying, just do these things. That's it. You do these things, you're gonna be blessed. You don't do them, you're gonna be cursed. So the blessing of obedience are the things we read about right here. And we lost them blessings when we broke the commandments of Yahweh. Go ahead.
And it will be that if you do not hearken the words, the voice of Yahweh your High, to observe, to perform all his commandments, and all his decrees that I command you today, then all this cursing will come upon you and overtake you.
One of the most famous verses. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, all of the curses, we gotta understand, all the curses didn't come upon every single tribe the same way at the same time, right? All of the tribes didn't experience all of these things that we're reading, that we're about to read in Deuteronomy 28. Some tribes experience some things, and then some tribes experience other things. Everybody didn't get all of the punishments thrown upon them at one time.
No.
All right? Just like when they came over to the Americas, some of the tribes had sheep, had goats and cattle, buffalo. The white man murdered them, murdered the animals. Murder means you kill them for no reason. They didn't even want the animal, just killed the animal.
Because you didn't want the natives to have the animals. So you just slaughtered them down in cold blood.
And then once you did that, what? Then you put them in slavery. A lot of us went in slavery. A lot of Gadites went in slavery. A lot of Asherites went in slavery before they started bringing the tribes from West Africa. So now what happens after that? Now once they go into slavery, they fulfill two curses in Deuteronomy 20, having your ox and your ass taken away from you, and then being put into having your yoke of iron put upon your neck. Every tribe didn't come into the Americas on slave ships. Every tribe of Israel didn't go into slave ships. Go ahead.
Accursed will you be in the city, and accursed will you be in the field.
In the inner city, and the exact opposite of the inner city is what? The reservation. We cursed in both places. All right, so we the most cursed in the inner city. When you go into the outskirts, who you gonna find? You're gonna find us. Desolate places and busy places. Desolate places in the countryside, on the reservations, and busy places in the city. We cursed in both those places. Go ahead.
Accursed will be your fruit basket and your kneading bowl. Accursed will be the fruit of your womb.
Which is the babies.
And the fruit of your ground. The offspring of your cattle. And the flocks of your sheep.
So they would take the baby out of her mother's womb and throw it against the rocks. They would murder the babies. They would cut the woman's stomach open, take the baby out, so they know we would be ruthless. So the people would know that the white man was ruthless in his system of slavery. They were murdering babies. Look at the conquest of the Americas. Read anything by Bartolomé de las Casas or Bartholomew de las Casas. He talked about how they would take the Asherite, okay, not Asherite, but the Ephraimite and the Manassite babies on the island of Cuba and Puerto Rico, or Simeon on the island of Hispaniola. They would take these babies and feed the babies to the dogs. Feed the babies to the dogs. Take the babies, feed the dogs, tearing the baby's arm off and chewing the baby's head up and teeth sinking into the baby's throat. Yanking off the baby's throat and then blood squirting everywhere, man. So this whole thing is what the white man did. That's how the fruit of our body was cursed. Then, when he couldn't do that no more, he cursed it through different drugs, different chemicals, different programs for abortion clinics, Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, different types of prophylactics and chemicals. A woman didn't get pregnant. You said it goes into what?
Also goes into down in Florida, and they used to use Israelite babies for alligator bait. Because when alligator skin was real popular back in the 20s and 30s, they couldn't get enough supply, so they would use Israelite babies, chain them to poles by the swamp, and the alligators would come chew on the kids, and then they would kill the alligators. So ruthless.
All right, so yeah, so the fruit of your body is cursed. Go ahead. Call your verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 19. Accursed will you be when you come, and accursed will you be when you go out. And power will send in your midst.
So you come into this captivity and bondage, and then when we left it, when we came into America, we was cursed. When we came into the world, we was cursed. And when we left out of the slavery on paper from America, we was cursed. There was still Jim Crow, lynching us, and even to this day. Down in Brazil even. Evil that they do upon us. Why? And it's not the color of the skin. It's because of who we are. It has nothing to do with the color of our skin. They say black, black, black. That's just the easiest physical characteristics for them to use. But it ain't because we black or because we brown. It's because they hate us. Ain't got nothing to do with our color. Okay, look at the people in India. The people in India it's people in India darker than everybody in this room, but they don't treat them like that. They be in their companies and offices in America doing their IT work, don't they? They don't be cursing them. They dark, a lot of them darker than us. Look at when they went to Vietnam, Vietnamese people, some of them brown too. So they don't let nobody fool you, say, oh, it's because we black. It ain't because we black. And they say, oh, it's because we African. It ain't because we African either. Because they left Africa and left their country alone to them. They didn't hate them enough to say, we're going to take over this whole continent. Maybe going to the Congo, they did a lot of evil down there. In the Congo against the Hamites and the children of Israel in the Congo, they did major evil. But it's not because you're black. It's because they hate you because your nationality, who you are as the children of Israel, because you are the only challenge to their global power. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8 and 9 talks about that. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8 and 9. That's why they hate you. All right? Because Esau hates Jacob, plain and simple. Okay?
How was saying amidst attrition, confusion, and worry in your every undertaking that you will do.
So cursing, vexation, and rebuke in everything you do. It's not the so-called white man, oh, they can't do this, they can't do this. First of all, they tell you couldn't do it. First of all, they say you can't do it because you don't know how to do it. You're not intelligent enough. Then they said you can't do it because you black. Then they said you can't do it because we're not going to give you a loan to do it. Then they said you can't do it because you didn't follow all the little statutes and regulations involved in doing it. Always got a reason why the Israelites, brown and black, Judah, Benjamin, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Reuben, all right? Ephraim, Manasseh, Shemaiah, Simeon, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Florida, America. All these places got all our people there, and they always find a reason why they want to try to destroy and oppress what we're trying to do. Go ahead.
Until you are destroyed.
And we are destroyed now. Go ahead.
And until you quickly perish because of the evil of your deeds. For having forsaken me,
because we did forsake the most.
the plague to you, until it consumes from you upon the ground to which you are coming to possess it.
So Most High said this plague and curse is going to be upon you in the land of Yasharallah, in the land of Israel. He said, this is going to be what I'm going to do, Yahweh, because you broke my commandments in your land. So it started in our homeland. Go ahead.
Yahweh will strike you with swelling, left lesions, with fever, and burning heart.
So this is
burning
all of the different illnesses. This is the high blood pressure. This is the sugar, the diabetes. All right. This is the smallpox. Go ahead.
with thirst and with sword, and with wind blast, and with withering, and they will pursue you until
So
you
mildew, consumption, this is different forms of cancer. All right, syphilis and gonorrhea. All right, things that consume your body away, like diabetes does. Like cancer, it literally eats away at your body. And your body can't even produce the muscle and produce the nervous system and produce the defense mechanism to cause things to, improve if a sickness or illness attacks your body. The Most High put these things on us. The Most High put these curses on, not our enemies. Yahweh allowed these things to happen to us. Go ahead.
Your heavens over your head will be copper, and the land beneath you will be iron.
So you ain't gonna be able to dig your way back to someplace else where you came from to make things better. And you ain't gonna be able to go over your head, that ceiling that's above you. In other words, you're gonna be trapped. That's what it's talking about. You're gonna be trapped. If copper is above me and iron is below me, I ain't got nowhere to go. I can't go down and dig to look for no place else. And I can't go up. All right, go ahead.
Yahweh will make the rain of your land dust and dirt. From heaven it will descend upon you until you are destroyed.
That's what they did to the Gadites, put them in a dust bowl. And in Israel, we had famines over there. And they put the Israelites in dust bowls. This mainly really going into what happened in America. Because when they came into West Africa, them crops was flourishing. When they came into America and moved the Gadites further west, now they put us into places where we can't produce food. And look at the movie Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Or look at the movie Geronimo. That's what the movies were about. They were trying to push the Gadites onto places where they couldn't survive.
Die off.
And they would die off. And when they put Tatanka Yotake, Sitting Bull, all right, when they push Goyatle, Geronimo, they fulfill these prophecies. Judah ain't never been at, when Judah was at, where was Judah at when he, Puerto Rico definitely ain't got, the ground grows flourishing in Puerto Rico and Jamaica. Judah down south can plant stuff and it grows. When you go to where they pushed us into the Americas, or when you go into Mexico, again with the Gadites, the Quilihuas, the Gadite reservation in Mexico, nothing really grows up there. Cactus grows up there. Cactus, and then maybe the fruit from off the cactus, what they call atún, or tuna, the tuna fruit that is tuna. Atún is a tuna fish, but tuna is a fruit in Spanish that grows on the cactus that we eat, grows in the desert. So that's how it became dust. Read.
Yahweh will cause you to be struck down before your enemies. On one road will you go out against him, but on 7 roads will you flee before him.
The Gadites, Issachar, Asher, in Mexico, America, and Brazil, great warriors. The white man had too many weapons against him. When he got that cannon, the Gatling gun, started murdering down. See, in Brazil though, they wasn't really trying to take the whole of Brazil. They said, nah, that's too much tropical forest for us to try to destroy and control. And the Most High wouldn't let them do that either. Because the Most High know that the tropical rainforest down in South America, man, that's the heart, one of the main heartbeats of the world. All right, the rainforest is what takes releases the oxygen into the atmosphere. All right, we breathe in the oxygen, we breathe out the carbon dioxide, and then the trees and the plants attract the carbon dioxide, and they release the oxygen into the air. And the Most High knew that Brazil was going to be a major force in that global ecosystem, so he didn't let them destroy the whole thing. All right? He didn't let them destroy that, man. But when they was fighting us, we were running. We started out good. Read the history. Geronimo and them said, man, we may have started good, but it's a wrap. We beat. Once you see all the people you grew up with, man, all your relatives and your cousins, once you see them get gunned down, murdered, and their blood spilling, guts hanging out, brains splattered, and you've been trying 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years to beat this thing, and ain't no more fight in you, that's what happened. And that's why Moses said you're gonna, and then once they started to, let's give it, read the next part of that verse.
And you will be a cause of terror to all the kingdoms of the earth.
Right, so you're gonna be pushed, you're gonna be for removal. You're gonna be moved into all the different kingdoms of the earth. They took us and put us into all the different kingdoms. All right? As slaves. Both Judah and Gad, all right, Asher and Benjamin became slaves all over the world. Not just in the Americas, but the ones that got taken to other places, their tribe is really unknown now because the main fulfillment of the prophecies happened over in the Americas. Right? Once somebody do some research, maybe then we'll find out, how our different CD come from. They ain't all just come from the same tribe, or they black, they gotta be Judah. That's racist. Or they all black, so they all gotta be from Judah. Wasn't Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and people from that kingdom of Israel that fled with Judah? You can read in Luke chapter 3, was it Luke chapter 3 or Luke chapter 2 about Anna from the tribe of Asher? Hanging didn't happen once again. This happened to what? The original Israelites that were in North, Central, South America, and then the slaves, especially in Brazil. When the slave died, when they were cutting timber in Brazil, they just let his body stay there. They didn't say, we got to give him a burial. They left his body for animals and birds to pick at. This literally happened. This wasn't happening. And then Judah was hung. A lot of times, for a little while, it happened in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Cuba, when they had the fields when they were killing the Israelites, and then they let their bodies just sit there, and the birds and the animals would come and eat them, jaguars and stuff come and eat them. You know, no jaguars on those islands. No wild beasts came in to eat them. Okay?
And nothing will frighten them. And how will strike you with the boils of Egypt, with hemorrhoids, with wet boils and dry boils, which cannot be cured.
The trail of tears. All kind of pus and hemorrhoids and boils popping up on our body during the trail of tears. These are all different forms of smallpox, chicken pox also. And I can only really speak for my tribe and certain tribes in the Americas, maybe the Caribbean. I don't know the full extent of the damage that was done in Central America and in South America. I don't know the full extent of it. All right, and I don't know. I know what happened to Gad, which is my tribe. I know what happened to Judah. I know what happened to those two tribes a lot because that's what we studied and pushed upon us in the Americas. We know what happened, in Central and South America also, but we don't know the full extent of it, the conquest and the murder, except for what we read about happening, by Spanish historians and things translated into the English, or you can just read it in Spanish also. So we don't know the full extent, but we know it was a lot of, as far as like hanging of people, it wasn't as cruel. We're gonna go murder these people. Even though they murdered and raped them, it's not a systematic thing that took place. Like, there were still people that could hide away from it. They didn't say we're gonna conquer this whole land. And then they gave it up once they raped it for what they wanted. Once they reached that climax, once they bust their little thing and got their funky off, they said, yo, now we can go. Ain't nothing else here. Ain't nothing else we can get from this hoe. We done used her up. We done took all the resources. We done took all the gold and the silver. They mined Peru, Brazil, Mexico. They mined Cuba,
Puerto Rico, they took every ounce of gold they could, then they said, oh, now y'all can have independence. And the Most High, in the process of them doing that to our people in South America, Central America, the people were getting sick. When they get sick, they kill them or just leave them over there to get sick and burn the bodies once there was enough of them piled up. Go ahead.
Yahweh will strike you with madness and with blindness and with confounding of heart.
All right, that confounds the heart what?
Of the heart.
That's heart disease, strokes, heart attack, that's blindness from glaucoma, from heart conditions, or glaucoma from diabetes. See, a lot of y'all be forgetting, man, diabetes mess with your eyes too. So are you steady sugar, your eyes getting weaker and weaker. Your nervous system is getting weaker and weaker. Your equilibrium is getting weaker and weaker. And what our people do? They put 2 big spoons of sugar in their cereal. Because they gotta have that morning rush. What the morning rush do? If any of us get a big thing of sugar, we wired. But when you diabetic and you get that dose of sugar, it's like heroin, man. It just make you woozy. It don't lift you up no more. It's a drug to you now. Just dump your system down. You know what I'm saying? So now, it talks about what? What the verse talks about? Madness. Everybody know that our people got a lot of mental illness issues, man. We just say they ain't wrapped too tight. We got the highest portion of mental illness among all ethnic groups. When I say we, I mean the 12 tribes of Israel. More than the Chinese, Japanese, more than the Africans. That's why maybe General Butt Naked, man. Maybe he was an Israelite. Y'all know about General Butt Naked, right? You know about General Butt Naked? He's a general that used to fight butt naked in Africa. It's a movie about him too. All right. They used to get high on drugs, and they would get different forms of cannibalism. I don't know if he was Yasha Allah. It was in Liberia. So there's a chance he might be Yasha Allah. You got to study and see what tribe or family he came out of. All right. So it's General Butt Naked. So just doing crazy stuff. Our people are crazy people. Mentally insane. All right? Got all types of disabilities and problems and all types of things that trouble the mind. The Most High put that on us as a curse. But a lot of times, at the other spectrum of that, we got geniuses too. We got geniuses amongst our people too, that made all the inventions. Most of the inventions that sustain America were created by our people. All right? Go ahead.
You will grope at noontime, as a blind man gropes in the darkness. But you will not succeed on your way. You will be only cheated and robbed in all the days.
Oppressed and crushed and spoiled.
And there will be no savior.
Ain't no leader gonna rise up and deliver us. Besides, when the Most High gets the tribes together, we appoint one head and we come up out this land. Well, not this land, but come up, or this land too, Turkey, will come up out of America. Once we get our stuff together, ain't no being equal and getting a better life in our captivities as a people. We ain't getting that. We leaving the captivities. We ain't go, oh yeah, we cool, now we got a better life in captivity. That ain't happening. Forget about that. As a nation of people, you might have exceptions, to the individuals, but as a nation, no, that's not happening. Okay? He said we're gonna be oppressed and spoiled, robbed and smashed down. All right? So this is the Israelites. So look at Deuteronomy 28. Don't look what people are saying to you, who they think this ethnic group is. Look at the prophecies. And look at what's supposed to happen to the Israelites. And then see if what's happened to the Israelites in the Bible is happened to these people. Which means what? They ain't Spaniards. They're not Spaniards. They're not Canaanites. They're the people that fulfill these curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Come on, man. That's why when you go into the Torah, all false doctrines die, are killed from the Torah. Alright? Now go ahead.
You will betroth a woman, but another man will lie with her.
Mm-hmm.
You will build a house, but you will not dwell in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not redeem it.
Read that again. You shall what? Have a woman. Another man shall lay with your woman. That happened in slavery. So-called white man lay with any woman he wanted to during slavery. Right? He did it with the man, and he was laying with the woman. We only talk about the man usually. But he was doing it with the, we only talk about what the man did to the man, but he was doing the same with the woman too. All right? He was laying with the man and the woman during slavery. All right? Because it's nasty, man. It's nasty. It's nasty to do. But he did it. So he was having sex with a man's woman. Laying with a man's woman saying, you don't belong to him, you belong to me. Now you go and have sex with this man and make a baby for me, then I'm gonna sell that baby. This happened to Judah. This happened to Gad too. All right, this happened to Asher and Issachar. Okay. Go ahead. So it said you're gonna betroth a woman, and what? Another man gonna lay with that woman. Okay.
You will build a house, but you will not dwell in it.
Who built the White House? Who built the White House? We did. And we don't dwell in the White House. All right? Who built up all the plantations in America that we see? Who built up the historical buildings around the Middle East? Slaves, Israelite slaves. Who built up the colonial buildings in Brazil? We're gonna make this place a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Built on the backs of, how about making a UNESCO site of intense, wicked slavery against the 12 tribes of Israel? How about highlighting that once you mention it, oh, this is UNESCO World Heritage Site, it preserves a lot of the colonial, see, even if it preserves a lot of the colonial heritage of this country. So it praises the conquest of one people. It exalts white supremacy even higher in the minds of the whole world. It's going to be a UNESCO World Heritage Site. What they did to Brazil, San Salvador, Bahia, Salvador. That was the capital of Brazil for like over 100 years. The capital of the Spanish conquest for over 100 years. You know, so it's totally fulfilling the prophecy. They did all these things, built these houses, and then the white man moved in. All right? When they talk about, oh, Goree Island, and the door of no return was at Ghana, right? Who do you think built that? Israelites built that. You think the French built that? British? Go ahead.
You will plant a vineyard, you will not redeem it.
All right, so when the grape industry was popping in America, they said, we're going to plant grapes and grow wine. Who do you think was planting them vineyards? Yasha Allah. Go ahead.
Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes.
So the ox, the ox is what? Is a big male bovine creature. Like a what? What ox was slain before our eyes? The buffalo. Judah don't fulfill this prophecy. Well, what about the slave ship? What about the ox? What about the ox being slain before your eyes? Buffalo, millions and millions of buffalo getting slain before the eyes of the tribe of Gad. And we shall what?
And you will not eat from it.
And we couldn't eat from them ox. We couldn't eat from the buffalo. All right. You couldn't eat them buffaloes, man. You couldn't eat the buffaloes no more. Because you was what? Because you was under the curses, and the Most High had to take you out the way, so he killed the food supply. Imagine that. I'm gonna come into your house, I'm gonna kill your animal that you've been living off of for thousands of hundreds of years, let's say. Almost thousands. Yeah, thousands of years at that point. I'm gonna just kill it. Not because I wanted to eat, but just because I want you to see how much power I really have over you. That's like me going into your house saying, okay, what you got in your freezer, man? You got some rice, some beans, tuna fish. Okay. And I just put it all into a bag and then just take it outside and just burn it. I just burn all your food. And that's what this is talking about. Go ahead.
Your donkey will be robbed from before you, but it will not return to you. Your flocks will be given to your enemies, and you will have no savior.
Let's get into different families of Gad that was keeping sheep, and different families of Asher and families of Issacharites that were using the donkey as a work animal intensely down there to go up the mountain, and Asher too. All right. Go ahead.
Your sons and daughters will be given to other people.
We were taken away from our fathers and put into the Carlisle School for boys. We were given to different white Edomite families to raise little Gadite children that they call Indians. That's what happened to us. And then it says what? It says your sons and your daughters are going to be given to another people. The tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the families were separated through the cargo slave ships and sold into a different part of the country, different part of the world. And you don't even know who your family, who your father and mother are. All you can do is think about, remember who your parents are. This happened to all of the tribes, not just so-called blacks, not just so-called Latinos, Hispanics, and Natives. Happened to everybody we know. So you have brothers coming out like, oh, they too light-skinned to be Israelites. They too light to be Israelites. Well, they went through the curses like your dark skin behind went through the curses. Who are you to come and say, oh, you got to be this color, this skin tone to be an Israelite? And then other tribes, well, they too, they didn't go through the slavery like we went through. But they went through slavery before the slave trade started from West Africa. So one group is saying that the other group is a Spaniard or a Canaanite, when all of y'all are the 12 tribes of Israel that went through the curses at different points of time and went through different aspects of these curses. Go ahead.
And your eyes will see, and pine in vain for them all day longer, but your hand will be powerless.
So that's what happened when they took our children away. We were powerless to do anything about it. Why? Because they controlled the government, they controlled the law enforcement, all right? They controlled the courts. All these things were controlled by our enemies once they took over our lands, primarily in the Americas. Primarily talking about the Americas. All right, go ahead.
A nation unknown to you will devour the fruit of your ground and all your labor, and you will be only cheated.
What fruit of the ground did Judah, Benjamin, and Levi have in the Americas? None. So that's letting you know that the place they were taken as slaves, those people, which are Israelites, had crops planted. And the Gentile Edomites that took over North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean, they stole everything. They stole the crops that were planted. All right, they stole the crops that were planted, and they ate it up. And what happened to us?
And you will be only cheated and downtrodden all the days.
We were oppressed and
you will go mad.
You're going to go into exactly what happened. They saw their people getting murdered off. They saw that the white Edomite Gentiles were oppressing them and stealing their land. And a lot of them just started to get drunk. And then that drunkenness led to mental illnesses, not to mention diabetes. And then that just followed one generation after the other. And we're still stuck in that cycle today. So the scripture said that we're gonna be mad because out of our eyes. That's why people see, you know, like the Jawara people, Jawara Island. People, white people coming out, we gonna shoot them. Amazon, we don't know y'all. White people shoot y'all. We don't want y'all coming around. Y'all look like sick. Y'all look like sickness. Y'all look like death. Okay? So people are mad over what their eyes were seeing. What? The oppression. And this happened to any people. See, these things, some of these things happen to other nations also. So they said what? They said, well, look, these things we mad because these things are happening to us. Now, go ahead.
Yahweh will strike you with a foul boil on the knees and on the legs that cannot be cured, from the sole of your foot to your crown. Yahweh will lead you in your kingdom, whom you will set up over yourself to a nation you never knew, neither you nor your forefathers. And there you will work for the gods of others, of wood and of stone.
So we're serving other gods, wood and stone. The wooden god we serving is mainly getting into so-called Christianity. The stone god we're serving is mainly getting into Islam, where you gotta go and kiss the black stone at Mecca. You gotta kiss the rock. And in Christianity, Catholicism started out, people were kissing the cross. And then people said, now we ain't gotta kiss the cross, we'll just put it up in our building and wear it on our necks. But they still revere it, they still serve it. All right, go ahead.
You will be a source of astonishment, a parable, and a conversation piece among all the peoples where Yahweh will lead you.
So wherever we go, we're the conversation piece. People look at us. We were the byword is what it's talking about. Okay, we were the byword, the proverb among all the nations where the Most High scattered us. Main byword they call us is African. That's the main byword. There's no people called Africans in Genesis chapter 10, nor in Chronicles. All right? We are not Africans that came in slavery in the Americas. We are the 12 tribes of Israel. Yasha Allah. All right? So the Most High said we're going to become an astonishment and a byword. You're going to be Afro this, Afro Turk, you Afro American, you Afro Indian, you CD, all right? You Arab, you Negro. Same people, they got like 20, 40 different names for all these people. They're all the same family. That's insanity. Go ahead.
You will take abundant seed out to the field, but you will harvest little, for the locusts will devour it. You will plant vineyards and work them, but you will not drink, and you will not gather in. For the worm will eat it, and you will have olive trees throughout your boundaries, but you will not anoint with oil, for your olives will drop. You will bear sons and daughters, but they will not be yours.
So did Judah have olive trees that he planted after he got conquered? No. It's going into places like this. Places like Turkey. Places like Jordan. Places like Israel, where our people are still there being oppressed and was in slavery to the Ottomans. So all them places, man, we had literally olive trees, and we couldn't use them. All right, verse 41 again.
You will bear sons and daughters,
Uh-huh.
but they will not be yours,
Mm-hmm.
for they will go into captivity.
So your children will be taken into captivity. Whose children were taken into captivity? The children of Israel. They were taken in slavery. All right, they were put in captivity. They were put into bondage. That's why we don't know our mothers and fathers when we go back so many generations. Other people show, yes, my family is going back to the 17, 16, 13, 1400s. All right, so if that's the case, that must mean your sons and your daughters wasn't really taken away for real. Because once you take the son away from the daughters, and the son from the daughter, and the father from the children, then what? then you just break the knowledge of that family tree right there. Okay? I'm saying you should go lay down, man. So the sons and daughters, you just take them into captivity. All right? Then destroy the whole family unit. Destroy the whole family unit. And this is what happened to us for 200, 300, 400 years. And it's still going on now. All right? They're still trying to take Gadites off the reservations and put them in white homes and get them adopted. They're still taking Israelites from the tribe of Judah and trying to put them into adoptive homes so superstars can have our babies. They're still trying to put them in, they're still trying to even murder the babies. Kill them before they grow. Not even put them in captivity. They're doing worse. This has been going on since we stepped foot into North America, Central America, and South America. Okay?
All your trees and the fruits of your ground, the chirping locust will impoverish.
Mm-hmm.
The stranger who is among you,
So the stranger that lived among you, talking about a Gentile, read.
will ascend above you, higher and higher, while you will descend lower and lower.
So the stranger gets over you and we come down lower. That's what happened. Stranger was over us and we came down low. The different nations came into the land where we were and got above us. And we see this, the Most High alluding to this in the book of Leviticus chapter 25. When we talk about the stranger that lives among us got rich, and then we sell ourselves to him to be his worker, his indentured servant. Go ahead.
He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him.
So they're going to control the economy. Because remember, this is talking about a whole nation. This is talking about to the children of Israel. So the strangers are going to have more economic power than we have. And we're going to have less economic power. And they're going to control the money getting loaned out. Go ahead.
You will be a head, but you will be a tail.
So we're the tail of the governments in the country. Over here in Turkey, you know all this, Israelites in the street. Not even in the office buildings, right? Not even doing the trash. Doing all of this like they're invisible. Go ahead.
All these curses will come upon you and pursue you.
All these curses came upon the whole nation. Not every single family of Israel, Yasharallah, went through all these curses. But the nation as a whole, you look at around the globe, around the world, like, yo, these things systematically happen to our people. And you say, okay, well, man, you must be Yasharallah. If you fulfill these curses, and you don't got no historical, ethnic background that links you to another nation of people, right?
All these curses will come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you will not have hearkened to the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, to observe his commandments and decrees that he commanded you. There will be a sign and a wonder in you and in your offspring forever.
I mean, yeah, you can always look on the children, look and see who's going through these different conditions. And those are the children of Yasharallah. Wherever you go, the Most High is going to be upon you and your children forever. So all these curses are going to follow the children of Yasharallah, no matter how high they get up in general. No matter what part of the world they're in, these curses are going to be upon them. Go ahead.
Because you do not serve Yahweh, your Elohim, amid gladness and goodness of heart, when everything was abundant.
You see that? Because we didn't serve Yahweh when we had everything, we're going to serve him when we ain't got nothing. When we had everything, we didn't want to serve him. We didn't appreciate it. We wanted something different. Serving other gods, read.
So you will serve your enemies,
We're going to serve our enemies, not our friends. Go ahead.
whom Yahweh will send against you.
And when we serve them, this is going to be our condition.
And hunger
We're going to want food. We serve our enemies for food and we hungry. Go ahead.
and thirst.
We want to thirst. We want drink. We serve our enemies for drink. We don't got nothing to drink. Go ahead.
In nakedness.
We want clothes. And we serve our enemies naked and we want clothes. This is exactly what happened in North, Central, South America and the Caribbean to all 12 tribes of Israel. The ones that were already in the Americas and the ones that came over on slave ships. Go ahead.
And without anything, and he will put an yoke and iron, an iron yoke on your neck.
An iron yoke on our neck. The word for neck in Hebrew is the word for upon, iron. And the word for iron in Hebrew is barzal, like Brazil. And Brazil had more people with iron yokes on their necks. All right? 5 million slaves went to Brazil. 500,000 went to America. You talking America to Brazil. You ain't talking about in between in the Caribbean. 500,000 went to America. 5 million slaves went to Brazil. And a yoke of iron was put upon their neck. So those people that's down there, that's brown skin, dark brown, light brown, straight hair, kinky hair, broad passion. See, a lot of people come into the truth and now they want to try to formulate their own doctrines. No, the people that's down there are the tribe of Asher. All right? The people that had yokes of iron put upon their necks in their countries, those are the children of Israel. Especially if they were on slave ships, and especially if their family was divided from them. That's why you read about, anybody ever read about blackbirding? You ever read about blackbirding? That's when they went to the different Pacific islands and targeted specific groups on the island, not everybody, but just specific groups on the island and said, we're going to take them and bring them over here to make them slaves. Look it up, blackbirding. Like a blackbird, I-N-G. All right? So that's the form of slavery that happened in different islands of the Pacific. All right? So the curse was upon them, and they wanted when they got captured, they wanted clothes, food, and shelter. They didn't have these things like their enemies had. Go ahead.
Until he destroys you.
He destroyed your will to resist, run away, or to revert back to your old ways. Did not he destroy the so-called Native American Indians in America? Are not they call themselves, what do they call themselves? What do our people call themselves? Native Americans? They've accepted the fact, they destroyed their, no, I'm only Lakota. I'm Lakota. I'm Dakota. All right? I'm Chata. All right? I'm Chicasa. I'm Kiliwas. All right? They don't say, I'm Mikasuki. And then they say, I'm Native American. All right? I'm American Indian. Neither one got nothing to do with our people. America is America Vespucci, and India comes from Hindus, which then goes to Indus, which goes to the Indus Valley, that's over in the India area. That's the Indians. They was calling people Indian before they even came into the Americas. So we call ourselves by different names. So they destroyed us. People say, I'm Puerto Rican. That's the name that the Spaniards put on you. But Jamaica is an indigenous word, and Cuba is indigenous, so they're not really as bad for using those names. But these still aren't the names the Most High calls us. They destroyed the people's will to go back and seek who they really are and go by that name. Who is my forefather? I'm God. I'm God. Yeah, I'm Gadite. I'm Yahodaya. I'm Judah. I'm Benjamin. I'm a Benjamite. I'm Lawya. I'm a Levite. All right. I'm not Trinidadian. Right. I'm not a Haitian. Even though I live on a mountainous island, you can call it, but I'm not. That's not my ethnic group. My ethnic group is Lawya. So the Most High say they're going to destroy you physically and mentally and spiritually. You've taken their gods, You've taken their education system and you've taken their lifestyle. And they've taken our lives. And we still like to live among them. We still like to be a part of their system. Go ahead.
Yahweh will carry against you a nation from afar and from the end of the earth.
A nation came from the coastline of where we just came from. West Africa, France, all right, over by, let's say, Europe, especially England. England was the major slave trader. And Portugal. Portugal and England, big time slave traders. On the ends of the earth, literally, at the edge of the eastern world. Literally. Once you leave Portugal, it's all ocean. Once you leave England, it's all ocean. Go ahead.
As an eagle will swoop.
And what was the symbol of the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the British? What was the symbol that they used? Was the eagle. They used the eagle. America used the eagle. Go ahead.
A nation whose language you will not understand.
And we wasn't dealing with that type of the languages that evolved off of Latin. As a nation of people, we didn't understand those languages once they conquered us. Some of us knew Spanish and different ancient German tones, but as a nation, we didn't understand their languages when they came into the Americas and conquered us. When they came into West Africa and took the tribe of Asher and brought them to Brazil, they didn't understand Portuguese. They didn't understand Espanol. When they brought the brothers into Brazil and to Venezuela to be slaves, they didn't understand. That's why I say nation whose tongue you should not understand. Some of our people spoke English, but most of our people did not understand English. The bulk of our people did not. We were speaking dialects from North, Central, South America and the Caribbean, and we were speaking languages from the west coast of Africa, Western Africa. We were speaking Twi. We were speaking different kinds of maybe, at that point we were speaking Bantu. We were speaking languages that now are called Igbo, speaking Yoruba. We were speaking all these different languages. And according to that language, they said, okay, well, you must be in this ethnic group. But we wasn't. We identified with that ethnic group and we lived in an ethnic group, but we weren't necessarily from that ethnic group. Okay?
A brazen nation that will not be respectful to the old, nor gracious to the young. It will devour the fruit of your animals and the fruit of your ground until you are destroyed. It will not leave you grain, wine, or oil, offspring of your cattle, or flocks of your sheep and goats, until it causes you to perish.
Totally destroying everything that we have. Read.
It will besiege you in all your cities until the collapse of your high and fortified walls.
That's how they took over the Americas. One area at a time. They didn't do this in Africa. They didn't do this in China. They didn't do this in India. They did it in North, Central, South America and the Caribbean. They totally destroyed all groups over there. That's why there's very few people that still speak the language that was spoken before the Spanish and the Portuguese and the British took over. Go ahead.
In which you trusted throughout your land. It will besiege you in all your cities and all your land, which Yahweh on high has given you.
So now in the land of Israel, they did these things too. Some of these curses apply to the land of Israel. Some of them don't even really go over a widespread collection of over all the tribes, and people forget about that too. Some of these curses came upon us when we were still in our ancient homeland under the British. Under the Babylonians it happened, under the Greeks it happened, then under the Romans it happened again. That's why when we look in the book of Daniel chapter 9, Daniel said that the curse that's written in the law of Moses has come upon us. Referring back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 that we're reading right now. So Daniel even said, hey man, this is stuff that Moses talked about. So those things that Moses talked about that we're reading right now have followed the children of Israel from that time, even from Daniel's time, up to this very day. Go ahead.
You will eat the fruit of your womb, the flesh of your sons.
Cannibalism, when they held us up in the siege and we had no food. So a baby would die, they would eat the baby. Go ahead.
Which Yahweh on high had given you, in the siege and in distress, that your enemy will distress you. The man among you who is tender and very delicate, will turn selfish against his brother and the wife of his bosom, and against the remaining children that he will let survive.
So that happened in the siege. We got evil against our own brother, our wife, and our children. And then once we came into the Americas, we got an evil eye toward our brother when slavery was over, mostly. Toward our brother and toward our woman and toward the children that we left them. We left our children, left the wife. All right, go ahead. Broken family, broken homes. This prophecy of this curse continues to haunt our people unto this day. Go ahead.
Not to give even one of them of the flesh of his children that he will eat, not leaving anything for him.
Cannibalism. Go ahead.
In the siege and distress, that your enemy will distress you in all your cities.
So we reverted to cannibalism, to eating the flesh of a human being. Go ahead.
The tender and delicate woman among you, who had never tried to set the sole of her foot on the ground.
The woman that was prissy, delicate. All right. The woman that was really just very feminine. Go ahead.
Because of delicacy and tenderness, will turn selfish against the husband of her bosom, and against her son and daughter, and against her afterbirth that emerges from between her legs, and against her child whom she will bear, for she will eat them in secret for lack of anything.
Eating a baby and eating the afterbirth. Go ahead.
In the siege and distress, that your enemy will distress you in your cities, if you will not.
So now when the baby came out, and she saved that afterbirth, and the baby, she was alone and she delivered the baby, she would eat the baby and eat the afterbirth. That's what the Bible is saying. These are the things that our people reverted to once Yahweh had forsaken us. Once he abandoned us. Like he said he was going to do. Read Deuteronomy chapter 31 and 32. You plainly see the Most High, Yahweh saying he's going to turn his back on us. Go ahead.
If you will not be careful to perform all these words of this Torah that are written in this book, to fear this honored and awesome name, Yahweh Almighty.
And that's why people don't keep the commandments. That's why they can make exceptions, because at the end of the day, they really don't fear Yahweh if you give a reason why you don't got to do what he said to do. Hearing before you, hearing in your face, so you feel like you can just do what he said to do, and then you can go and say, I'm sorry, and he's going to forgive you. Because you don't fear and respect him. You ain't going to do that to your father on earth. How you going to do it to Abba Now and Shabbat Shemayim? How you going to do it to our Father that's in heaven? But you're going to do it to Abba Kasha Ba'aratazah. You're going to do it to your Father that's on the earth. But you're going to do it to the Heavenly Father that's above your Father on the earth? That's backwards. You're supposed to treat your Father in the heavens, Yahweh, better than your Father on the earth. Have more respect for him. But you respect the man that's before your face more than you respect Yahweh, whose face is before the whole earth and creation, the universe that's bigger than everything. You don't fear him, but you fear man. Go ahead.
Then Yahweh will make extraordinary your blows and the blows of your offspring, great and faithful blows, and evil and faithful illness. He will bring back upon you all the sufferings of Egypt,
Right.
of which you were terrified, and they will cleave to you, even any illness and any blow that is not written in this book of Torah. Yahweh will bring upon you until you are destroyed.
Like AIDS, different diseases like that. Like AIDS, all right? Like all the diseases all the things you see happen was in Egypt. Okay?
You will be left few in number, instead of having been like the stars of heaven in abundance, for you will not hearken to the voice of Yahweh your Almighty. And it will be that just as Yahweh rejoiced over you to benefit you and to multiply you, so Yahweh will cause them to rejoice over you and to make you perish and to destroy you.
So listen, the same way Yahweh said, oh, I love the children of Israel. Y'all my favorite people. You my holy people. That same way Yahweh said he's going to punish you and be just. Read that part again, man.
And it will be that just as
On the verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 63. And it will be that just as Yahweh
The
rejoiced
same way as Yahweh rejoiced over you, what?
to benefit you,
to do you good,
and to multiply
and
you.
to increase you, multiply you, go ahead.
So Yahweh will
That
cause
same way, he will what?
them to rejoice over you,
He gonna rejoice over you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
to make you perish,
To destroy you, go ahead.
and to destroy you,
Mm-hmm.
and you will be torn from upon the ground.
So the same way the Most High said, okay, I'm gonna rejoice over you to do good, the Most High said, I'm gonna rejoice over you, all right, to destroy you. That's the type of power we serve. If you don't like it, hey, you can, if you don't like what the Most High said, you're gonna suffer for eternity. All right, in the lake of fire. If you don't like what he said, okay, you're free not to like what he said, but you're gonna pay for it. Like you more intelligent and more experienced and you know more than the Most High, you don't know nothing beyond what your senses can detect, and that's literally nothing. Go ahead.
To which you come to possess it,
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh will scatter you among the peoples,
Yeah, this is what he did with the slavery. That's why James 1:1 said, James, a servant of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. Go ahead.
from the end of the earth to the end of the earth.
So Yahweh scattered you all over the earth as slaves. This is written to all 12 tribes, not just to Judah. Not just to Ephraim. This is written to all 12 tribes. So all 12 tribes are scattered throughout the whole earth. Go ahead. Scattered through the whole earth. But we know once we came to the Americas, that there was a scattering that happened with the tribal groups being put together. Go ahead.
And there will you work for gods of others,
Mm-hmm.
whom you do not know, you or your forefathers, of wood and of stone.
Let's get into Catholicism and also into different forms of Islam. All right, Catholicism and Islam, which uses what? The cross and uses the rock. All right.
And among those nations you will not be tranquil, there will be no rest for the sole of your foot.
So among those nations, you're gonna be what? You're gonna be, always on edge. No advancement, as a people. You're not gonna move up as a nation among those people. Go ahead.
There Yahweh will give you a trembling heart, longing of eyes, and suffering of soul. Your life will hang in the balance, and you will be frightened night and day.
So whenever something happens, fear is gonna come upon you. Now this was really, really going on back in from the 14 to the 1800s, when you didn't know what was gonna happen, what these crazy Gentile white Edomites were gonna do to you, man. You had no clue. They could come into your house, take you out, murder you, and nothing would happen to them. And this happened for such a long time. Our people were in fear, literal fear of their lives. And nobody could stop the U.S. government, the Brazilian government, for the evil that was being done against the children of Yasharala. Go ahead.
And you will not be sure of your livelihood. In the morning you will say, who can give back last night? And in the evening you will say, who can give back this morning?
Mm-hmm.
For the fright of your heart will fear, and the sight of your eyes that you will see.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh will return you to Egypt in ships, on the way which I said to you. You shall never again see it.
So we came into Egypt on ships. We came into America, Central America, South America, mainly North America, in bondage on ships. Go ahead.
And there you will offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as slaves and maidservants, that there will be no buying.
And after slavery was over, we tried to say, look, I got this skill, I can do this, I can do that, and they wouldn't bite it. They would take us, put us in jail for loitering or not having a job, and then sell us back to the plantations to do labor as part of our prison sentence. That's what it means, no man will buy you. We was put right back into captivity and bondage again. Because we already read the fact that that we were going to be put in slavery. We read that part, all right? You can read that in verse 48, that we was going to serve our enemies. And you can read in verse 42 that our children are going to be in bondage. And you can read in verse 30 of 41, our children are going to be in bondage, in verse 32. All right? You read about the yoke of iron in verse 48. So when they say no man shall buy you, a lot of people act like, oh, that discounts slavery. Slavery didn't happen. No. That's going into the fact that once slavery was over, and once we got to these lands, we tried to offer ourselves to these people for a price. And they said, hell no, we ain't buying you niggas. We ain't buying you Indians. We ain't buying you Mexicans. You can come and work on my plantation for free for 5 years in exchange for me teaching you Spanish, since Spanish is the language of the colony. They didn't buy us. So a lot of people think that when you look at the Hebrew, it does say you're gonna offer yourselves to sell. It's a reflective. There's a reflective pronoun that's used. There's a reflective grammar that's used. All right, which usually begins with like ha, like hitpael. Hitpael. What's that verse 68, right? And it is 60. What's that 68, right? Yeah. Let's go to it. Because a lot of people get confounded by this verse right here. And a lot of us even, when you look at the verb right here, it has a, what do you call it, conjunctive or wa on there. Then it says, it says hit or hot. Okay, hot is called the hitpael. Hitpael is a prefix that goes on the front of a word as it reflects, as it's a reflective, all right? What they call a reflective type of pronoun. It's from the hitpael stem. That's why when we read the Hebrew, man, I don't care if you don't know how to pronounce a word, Isaiah. Once you know the grammar, and you know what these prefixes and suffixes means, you can break it down. You can say, nah, this mean that. Nah, that don't mean that, brother. When you break it down, it's wrong, all right? Because this one says, it don't say you shall, it says hit, and then it says makar. And you know, makar, I believe, is the same as the word for the woman, for like when you offer that price. So makar meaning a price is being extended as an offer for something else. All right. So it says that. So it says there you shall price yourself to your enemies as male and female slave, and then when you go down, it says wa'ayan kola, meaning no one shall buy you. It says la ibadyam, all right, as male slaves, wa la shapakwath, female slave. Then it clearly says no one will buy you. So what does that mean? That means that you yourself did indeed offer yourself as a servant, as a worker, as a slave to other people for a price. This happened after slavery during the encomienda system that the Spanish had. It also happened after after slavery had ended. You know, on paper, from what was that 1868, right? 1865, when it was over on paper. And then you say, hey, look, I'm a coppersmith. You know, I'm a blacksmith. I'll come and work for you for, give me X amount of dollars. I'll sell myself to you for this money. They said, nah, you ain't gonna do that. So this is part of the American saga of slavery and colonialism also. But we did go on ships though. We came on ships. And what happened when we went to on ships? Verse 42, verse 32, verse 41, and verse 48. We became slaves, in captive, yokes of iron put upon our necks, serving our enemies with a yoke of iron. So those things happen. But verse 68 covers from the time slavery started with the original Israelites that came into the Americas, which were called the indigenous peoples, and it covers the form, it covers after slavery had technically ended on paper. And then we went back into this world, and we said, well, buy, give me some money so I can work for you. He was like, nah. And they had different programs set up so that you could go and learn a trade or be apprenticed under a so-called white man for a certain time period. And you would be teaching him, but you would be working for free. Maybe for food and clothes, that's it. But you didn't get no money. Not to live off of, or to say you got something in your pocket. That's substantial. So that's what that verse means. So we gotta look at that verse. You gotta, once you see something in the Hebrew, it's up to you to figure out how it happened. Don't argue with the Hebrew. The scripture in the English says, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, and no man shall buy you. In the Hebrew, it doesn't say that. It says, there ye shall sell yourselves. And that's the thing. A lot of people try to say, it says offer to sell, but that word is makar. Makar means to exchange a price. It says no man is going to buy you. So it says you shall sell yourselves there to your enemies as male and female slaves, and no man will buy you. So how do you sell yourself and no man will buy you? Just two different buying. There's a buying that's going on where it took place, and there's a buying going on where nobody bought you. So what did you buy? What did you exchange? What good it do for a man to, what will a man give in exchange for his what? For his soul. Remember you had Gadites, right? Remember you had Gadites that were slaves of the so-called white man. And they would sell themselves to the so-called white man. The ones that weren't slaves would sell themselves to the white man for a fee to get money to do what? What was the big job the Gadites had when the white man was fighting against the Gadites? What was the number one job that Gadite men tried to get? Against their own people. To become scouts. To look for their own people. And once that job was over, they would come back and say, well, look, I can do this, I can do that. I say, nah, you're going on with the rest of them. So they got bought, and then when they tried to sell themselves again, the white man said, nah, you're going with them now. You helped me, thank you, now you go with them. All right, now you go with them. Or overseers, yeah, my job is, I can be a good overseer, I'm strong, I can watch, you be the overseer. But you didn't get no money for that. All right? So you sold yourself, and then the scripture say also that nobody was gonna buy you. So a lot of people, they translate that, oh, you're gonna offer yourself to sell, but it don't say that. The word offer, and the word try, and the word attempt is not even used. Okay, it says, and you shall sell yourselves there to your enemies. Meaning also, bust this. I said bust this, right? Meaning that you the one that created the condition for yourself to be sold, so you did it to yourself to cause yourself to be sold to your enemies. So you sold yourself to your enemies, number one. Now, once you say, okay, we're gonna get free or whatever, now you go back and try to sell yourself to your enemy again. Enemy's like, nah, we don't want you. You're gonna come and work. Study what happened after slavery, how they set up the prison system to have people working for free that used to be slaves. And then you'll understand this prophecy right here. All right, go ahead.
These are the words of the covenant that Yahweh commanded Mashah to seal with the children of Yashar'alah in the land of Moab, besides the covenant that he sealed with them in Horeb.
Kala Shara,
the Bar Yahweh,
the body of Yahweh,
Na'ashah,
Na'ishah,
Na'ashemah. All that Yahweh said,
all that Yahweh said,
what we do in here.
what we do and hear. So this is showing you how all the curses that the Most High put upon the children of Israel, Yashar'alah, we know these things happen to us and our people. Don't be discouraged by somebody saying, well, you ain't an Israelite, or these things didn't happen to you, or you a Spaniard, or you a Canaanite, or you an Edomite. Don't be discouraged by that, man. Know what the prophecies say and own it. Own them prophecies. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Own it. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all yours. And that's the only way you're going to get redeemed, is by acknowledging the curses that come upon you. That's in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 40, 41. You got to admit that the Most High put these curses on you. He put this punishment on you. All right. Okay, Zayatan, you got to come and read verses 1 through 8.
Madwa. Rock.
Yeah, but I can tell you how about Shimmy how shot. Anybody translate for him? It's Egypt, right? Pharaoh. Ibadua. Unto all. Right. And I read in the Hebrew, read 1 through 3. In your King James, it's going to be 2, 3, and 4. I got it.
Moses.
No, okay, go ahead. Moses summoned. Wait. Oh, go ahead. Moses called. Moses summoned. Go ahead.
All of Israel.
Yasha'Allah, he called Yasha'Allah.
And said to them, you have seen everything that Hashem Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Egypt, and to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. The Greeks trials that your eyes behold, those
Great.
great signs and wonders that Hashem Yahweh did not give you a heart to know or eyes to see or ears to hear and until this day.
I led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your garment did not wear out from you, and your shoe did not wear out from your foot. Bread you did not eat, and wine or intoxicant you did not drink, so that you would know that I am Hashem Yahweh your Elohim. Then you arrived at this place, and Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, went out towards us in battle, and we smote them. We took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenite, the Gadite, and to half the tribe of the Manassite. You shall observe the words of this covenant, and you shall perform them, so that you will have success in all that you do. This concludes the Torah Parashah of Tavo for the Shabbat. I'll briefly go into the Haftarah, which is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1 through 22. Isaiah 61 through 22. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to the brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy sons shall come from far, and thy daughters shall be nursed at thy side. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged, because of the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as clouds, and as doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh Elohim, and to the glory one of Yasharallah, because he has glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy upon thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. The sons of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Yasharallah. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaquam. For brass I will give gold, and for iron, and for iron, and for stones, iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and the Elohim, and thy Elohim thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself. For Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. All right, so in Isaiah chapter 60, we see that the whole world is in darkness, is covering the whole people. But then it says that the Gentiles are going to come from the ends of the earth to us, and they're going to bring us all their riches, all their wealth, everything that they have. And the sons of the strangers, talking about the Gentiles, are going to build up the walls of Israel. The sons of the strangers are going to build up, and their kings are going to serve us. All right? And they're going to be bringing in everything that's of value that we want is going to come into us. Everything that's of value that, they're going to bring so many things of value to Jerusalem. The people that afflicted us, they're going to come and bow down at our feet. All right? So the brightness of the glory of the Most High is going to brighten up everything, which goes into the blessing Yahweh upon Yahweh Aliyakah. May Yahweh shine his face upon you. All right? And that's the reading of the Haftarah. The Masorah is Matthew chapter 4, verse 13 through 24. You going to read that?
Yeah.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 13 through 24.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 13 to verse 24. And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelled in Capernaum, which was upon the sea coast, in the borders of Zebulun and Naphtali, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Elias the prophet, saying, in the land of Zebulun and in the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles, the people which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region and the shadow of death, light is sprung up. And from that time, Yahushua HaMashiach began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And Yahushua, walking by the sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets and followed him. And going on the way thence, he saw other two brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets. And he called them. And they immediately left the ship and their father and followed him. And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. Verse 24. And his fame went throughout all Syria, and they brought unto him all sick people that were taken with divers diseases and torments, and those which were possessed with devils, and those which were lunatic, and those that had the palsy. He healed them. So we see Yahushua HaMashiach start his ministry according to prophecy. And the first two people that he gathered was Simon called Peter and his brother Andrew, saying, come with me and I will make you fishers of men. And they followed him, believing on his word. And Yahushua, through the word and power of Yahweh, was able to heal the sick, make the blind to see, make the deaf to hear. Those that were lunatic, meaning out of their mind, didn't have common sense, this was doing all sorts of crazy things. He healed them. All manner of diseases. He went throughout all of Syria, healing all people that were brought onto him. So his ministry grew by the works of who he was able to heal and make whole again. And word spread of this great man, Yahushua HaMashiach, and the word that he was preaching.
Yeah. Staring at the camera, forget about
Preaching, saying that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, that we must repent. We must come back to the raw basics, which is repentance, obedience, Yahweh, Yahushua, our nation, Yasha'Allah, and preparing for these last days that are coming upon us.
That is, yeah, that is what he was teaching. I mean, that is what Yahushua was teaching.
Come.
This was gonna happen in the last days. Everybody gonna be gathered together, go to the sheep on the left and right hand and stuff. Yahushua taught the world basics.
And that part of that repentance is turning from sin, doing that which is according to Torah, the moral civil and dietary laws found in the Bible. Keeping the holy Shabbat from Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown, keeping the holy convocations as they come up according to the new moon, which is the inferior conjunction. Right, and the next new moon will occur September 27th at sundown, ending at September 28th, which is also the memorial blowing of the trumpets. Okay, so that was the Basora portion. So if there's not any questions, we can close out with the reading of the memorial of the woman. Zechariah 1, Asha'ah, the memorial of the woman. Matthew 26, 6 through 13, Mark 14, 3 through 9. Now when Yahushua was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, they came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for 300 pence, 1 year's wages, and given to the poor. When Yahushua understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she has wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me ye not have always.
You have not.
But me ye have not always. For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman has done be told for a memorial of her. Bashem, Yehoshua, Hamashiach, Amen. Men stand. Madium. Barak. Yabarakakam Yahweh Bashem Yehoshua. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Okay, sisters stand. Salute our sisters in the work. Amagwa. Barakwa. Yashamar Kam Yahweh Bashem Yehoshua. Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Kwam Yashala.
Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Okay. All right.
Just in time, huh? For the rock band to start playing. Next to our portion is Nitzavim. 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 It's going to be the next Torah portion. So y'all join us for that. Next time we have our next Shabbat. All right, be sure to tune in for the reading of the Torah brought to you from the Mashara Yasha'Allah Office of Torah Law Enforcement and Calendar, as well as other offices that have been combined together by myself and Zaquan Daniela. So that's pretty much it for today. Let's read the, you can read the other, you can read the understanding of the law, this one, and there's other ones also. We have other Torah classes that have been taught for over a year, breaking down each portion. And maybe we get that going again, but for now, you can type in any Torah portion. You can type in Nitzavim, for example, and the Torah portions will come up that's already been taught, all right, by me, coming out the Torah, all right. So all your doctrines, all your beliefs, everything got to be based on, what we read inside the Torah. So don't take the Torah, as something light. The Torah is the foundation of every doctrine that we are supposed to be believing and teaching. And if you can't find the doctrine inside the Torah, then you probably either A, shouldn't be teaching it, or B, it's not important, or C, it's not a biblical doctrine. All right. So that's the thing that we have to really understand and realize, you know, when we're dealing with the Torah, when we're dealing with the children of Yasharallah, is that we have to learn exactly what the Torah says, and then we have to walk in that. We have to walk in that. All right, so may the Most High be with you all, and then Yahweh Shah Mashiach. We signing off from the diaspora of Turkey. May Yahweh be with you, and then may Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Hey, let's look at that. Let's see if we had any, go in there and see if we had anything that need to be responded to. What's that say?
Shabbat Shalom.
What's it say? What's that?
From Darkwan Bana Wanya.
Hey, Shalom Lakah, what's going on with you, man? The Most High be with you. Man, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Hope everything's going good over there in Scotland, Edinburgh. I hope all is well over there with you on this Sabbath. The Most High is holy there. So may the Most High be with you and bless you and guide you and shine His face upon you. All right? So, hallelujah. Shalom Lakah, we finished now. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shah. Hopefully, you know, we can start getting stuff popping like a little more, and keep everything flowing in Yasharallah. Look, I'm gonna tell you this, then we're gonna end. What we need in Yasharallah, we need more Torah students that can become more Torah teachers. Everybody's trying to be a camp leader to get on the street and teach the gospel. That's good. But Yahweh said, all right, he that doeth and teach the commandments shall be called greatest in the kingdom. So we have to do and teach the commandments. So that's the number one job that the Father, Yahweh, has given us. And once we do that, that includes Deuteronomy 28. That's the beauty of it. It includes Deuteronomy 28 and flow into the other books to show that. Deuteronomy 28, okay? Luke 21, 24. It includes all those other parts of the Bible, all right? So you start from the Torah and you branch off. But first you have to learn the Torah as a student of the Torah, and then you qualify to teach the Bible. If you don't know the Torah, if you haven't studied or been taught the Torah, then you need to get qualified by reading and learning and studying the Torah. Right? May Yahweh be with you, and then Yahweh Shah Mashiach, Shalom Aleichem.